And I'm Markia.
And this is
Bitch, Let's Talk.
So for Pop Tart World this week, actually, before we get started into Pop Tart World, let's send a wonderful congratulations to Markia.
Oh, God.
She got knocked up during quarantine, y'all.
Yes, I'm having a pandemic baby.
But we're so excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I already talked to the baby. I need the baby to know my voice. I'm really hoping for a girl, you guys. She thinks it's a boy. She won't tell us the name. I just need a little girl. But I'm so excited. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you again.
You like pregnancy life?
It's different.
You have no
I
control.
don't dislike it, but it makes you extremely humble because you don't control too much of anything. Yeah, you don't. You just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just want a puppy. Then we'll.
I wanted a puppy.
No, you didn't. Not with your legs open like that.
I wanted a puppy too.
When?
Before
the knotless.
Yeah.
Well, puppy come later. Baby first.
Perhaps.
And then,
puppy ain't gonna come no time soon, girl. I got a child to look after.
Straight true. But the funny thing about this, the reason why it's so funny, Markia has been gun-ho. I'm going to be an auntie for a long time. I don't want no man. I'm going to stay to myself. I'm going to be with God, and I'm going to mind my black business.
First of all, just because I'm having this baby, who said that baby belonged to me? How y'all know this my baby? How y'all know this is my baby?
Who it belong to?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
It
The baby don't belong in the street.
that baby got a father.
So this not your baby.
Who said that baby had to come home with me just because I'm the mother? Who said that?
They gonna lock you the fuck up if you don't walk out there with that damn baby. They will lock you the fuck up.
I'll think about it. I got a couple more months. I'm debating.
Jesus.
Okay?
Let's solicit some prayer words for our girl, because this ain't gonna work. So for Pop Tart World this week, I'm gonna mess this up. Can you say it?
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Thank you. And I've read his books, which is trifling of me. He actually has been hired to be the new writer for Superman. It's actually going to be produced by J.J. Abrams, which I'm actually a fan of. I wasn't at first. He had to grow on me. But the way the writing is going to be set up is going to be a black Superman, which I think would be interesting. I hated Superman for a very long time. I've always thought that he was ridiculous.
I was never into Superman either. Batman was my homie, though.
Yeah, because Batman's a thug. Superman had that little S curl weird thing. He was a goody two-shoe.
Superman was from, like, Baltimore County.
Yeah, but, like, Towson.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And it's funny because, like, when I watch, like, the DC comic shows, which are so much better than movies. But when I look at the movies, I'm like, ugh, why did they make this?
I didn't think I was going to, like, when they did, like, the black kid Superman, the animated version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to like that, but I did.
I'm wondering if this is going to be like that.
Perhaps. That was good.
Yeah. So we'll see. I have no idea when it's supposed to come out. I'm just excited to see black people just writing, especially for superhero movies, because we don't really get to be a part of that, even though it comes from the comic books and all that other stuff. Yeah. But we need to be in these spaces because we definitely need to see diversity. And the actual DC, like, lore is super fucking dark. So is Marvel. Like, I want to see, like, the real heart and pain and soul of some of these characters. Because when I look at the comics or, like, when I look at the animations, I'm like, oh, that's real fucked up. Like, you going to kill the whole family, the child, the grandmother. Like, no remorse, no one cares. So I'm really excited. So we'll see what actually happens. Michael B. Jordan originally tried to start this, but unfortunately, Baby Boy didn't get too far. The people told him no and go back home.
Start what? Like, star in the show? Or?
I don't know. I think he wanted to actually produce Superman.
Michael B. Jordan?
Child. He has his own production company. Outliers? Outcast? Somebody's out. I don't know who it is, but
okay.
But originally he did this a couple years ago. I think this is right when he was filming Black Panther for Killmonger, and he ran across their desk and they were like, nah.
Yeah, his best friend is the guy that does like Black Panther and Fruitvale Station. That's why he's always getting like casted.
Oh yeah, Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, they're like really close friends.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
that
did
inspired
not
him.
know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I didn't know they were close friends. I just thought they were just cool.
I mean, he gives him his starring role for most of his movies, but they're like good friends. Good friends.
The look on your face tells me that you don't think he's qualified for these
He's
roles.
definitely not qualified, but he's handsome.
He's very
He did well
audience.
in Killmonger. I'll give him that.
That is his best role.
Yeah,
It is.
I didn't see Fruitvale Station just because I couldn't
triggers
tolerate
me.
it at that time. Yeah, so I know about the story, and that was enough. For
Yeah,
me.
exactly. The real story.
Yes.
Yeah, that was enough.
It's a waste of film, but it's
Oh.
a good story. It's a waste of film,
God
though.
damn it, Ryan.
Was it what is it called? Cinematography good? You taking too long. The answer is no.
Yeah.
That was the issue that I just had with the U.S. government versus Billie Holiday, the joint that Lee Daniels just did.
I
on
was about to
Hulu.
watch that tonight.
I was disappointed in the cinematography. It's too jumpy. Like it's
How was the acting?
And Fruitvale Station?
No, and Billie Holiday. You didn't like Audra Day?
Oh.
That was it? That's all you giving me?
That's all I got to give. I don't want to drag it because I think the intention was
Right.
pure,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
Yes.
sometimes I feel like we should leave those types of stories alone because, for one, there isn't enough film to capture
Yes.
everything that happened. It's
Yeah.
impossible. And I don't know, it kind of takes away from that person's like legacy, in my opinion, when it's not done
I
correctly.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Self-Made,
all I got.
the Madam C.J. Walker series was like that. I feel like it demonized her
Yes.
unintentionally.
Yes.
It
Yes.
made her very,
Yes.
very antagonistic to people, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, it made her a mammy, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Who wrote that?
Was that Lee
It's
Daniels?
based off the book that her daughter wrote, or her adopted daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
And see, I was just talking about this like a couple of days ago with somebody, and I was saying like the adaptations from books to movies, it never,
Most times are terrible.
the fluidity, it's ridiculous.
And they added things to it, like they made the daughter, I guess, LGBT, but she wasn't in real life. Like she had a family and had children. But they,
Who, her daughter?
yeah, and
Why
a
did they do
self-made show
that?
because it's modern time and it's like really popular, so they did that. But
Yeah, but just tell the truth.
the
Like,
truth
Yeah.
is boring.
Oh.
no, well, I would have cut some people off.
That's
'cause
really what they're thinking about when they're
Mm-hmm.
making these movies. Like, well, who wants a goodies issues? Let's spice her up a little.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's happening.
And see, but then when children who are ignorant to history, they will take this and run with this and think this is law, this is Bible, this is actually what happened in that time, and that's inaccurate. Like, it's okay to have shows and movies that talk about pop culture and the things that are happening in the times, but respect history, respect the past, respect
Yeah.
the ancestors.
And
Like,
respect the self-made woman. Like, why you gotta demonize one of the only shows that's about like a black woman millionaire? Like, make
Yep.
her what
like
she is.
literally
I'm not shocked nor
self-made
appalled.
millionaire.
Yeah.
sweetie, it's a black self-made millionaire. Why wouldn't they
And
put her on a
woman.
pedestal and make her look nice and shiny and clean?
I mean, they didn't do that to Pursuit of Happiness. They made him look like he was the hero.
He's a man.
Exactly.
Gender.
Baby, that's a whole nother story. So speaking about black creatives, Facebook is actually starting an investment company called We Are the Culture, and it is a content initiative for black creatives. So if you sing, if you act, if you write, anything that you could possibly think of, they will be contributing about $220 million into this initiative. They already have people already signed up. You can go to their Instagram to learn more. We Are the Culture. They also have a Facebook page called We Are the Culture. And all of this stemmed from George Floyd. I will not speak on my sentiments on that. However, the initiative from Facebook creating space for black creatives, I am here for it. I just want to make sure that the money is being moved the right way to these actual people. And this is not just a nice marketing announcement and people are not being paid. People are not being noticed.
That was my question. Because I'm also just like, all right, well, who's running this initiative? Is it black people? Was it started by black people? Or
so
are there
these are
black people on the
workers
board?
from these are Black people from Facebook who created this initiative and who will be running it.
Okay.
However, once again, I don't want to be whitewash market pawns.
No.
So this is a great thing. I know they are giving out grants. So please, look them up and do your research. They do have different grants and stuff for different creatives for different things. If it applies, apply.
I love that. I mean, and I love that more Black creatives are getting their fair share and are getting more of a spotlight because there's so many of us. And I think sometimes when we create and it's not like a light right on it, then we kind of get discouraged. But I was watching, what was it called? Something on HBO. I think it's called like the Black Art or something along those lines. But it was
about
amazing.
the Black artists.
My God, so amazing.
I want to watch that.
It was so good. And
what was it
on? HBO Max.
Okay.
And one of the artists at the end said he'd rather create in the dark and have his integrity than do it in the light just to have white people congratulate you. And
wow.
Yeah, and it was just so profound because I'm like, this is where we are right now.
Yeah.
Like we want that acceptance so much, but fuck sitting at that table.
Yeah,
I'm
create
just
your
so
own.
over that conversation. Like I'm so over it.
And it makes sense to be. But that's what we've been trained to do.
Yeah.
We've been brainwashed to believe that we have to make friends. We have to do these things to sit at these elitist tables. We have to kiss the ass of these gatekeepers. I'm saying this in air quotes. That shit is just a false equivalency. Like, fuck that. Yeah. If you really want to make change, it really starts with you. And I know that is like so cliche, but like you create the space that you want to create for yourself. You can't keep waiting for other people to create other things for you because baby, it will never be created.
Yeah, no,
I agree. And to the Facebook thing, I do think people should read the terms and conditions because a lot
Very
of these
thoroughly.
contracts are very underhanded, and
Facebook is known for very seedy, shady shit.
Trump.
He's getting sued
getting
left and right.
ownership of like your content.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. He stays in court for
All the
doing
time.
backhanded shit.
Just stay on C-SPAN. I know your
Right.
great grandmother, your grandma probably just watching it, but y'all need to see some of these hearings because you'll be surprised the bills and shit that's being passed and the court, the lawsuits and stuff that are happening between these billionaires and their companies.
Yep.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of people need to be more aware of politics. A lot of people don't have enough investments or assets, so they pay no mind to how the laws work. But once you start getting into business, you start to realize a lot of these laws work in favor of just big corporations.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
they're bailed out constantly. They don't pay the same amount of taxes that we do. They have like so many handouts and leg ups, and
and a lot of them is either married in Congress or know somebody in Congress.
Yeah.
So
Scratch
that
my back,
money
I'll scratch
continuously flows in their communities.
Yep.
And I think we all should learn from that mentality, especially as a Black community. If
Yep.
we learn how
Absolutely.
to
I
carry
agree.
that, we'll be
definitely
I
prosperous.
agree wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly. I just think the issue is that, one, we don't trust our own, and two, we feel the need to always outsource. And the one thing I always say in my friendships, I have everything that I need because everyone has a gift that is capable of unlocking something greater than myself or even all of us combined. But I have a stylist. I have a herbalist. I have a psychic. I have a whole bunch of shit with me, but we need to learn how to tap into our higher self so we can really be communal and start really seeing changes that we want to see with our people. But don't complain, please. Don't complain when you're part of the fucking problem.
Yeah. Like sometimes
Just be quiet. Like you can be angry, but be quiet in your anger. But baby, don't say nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not helping out. So speaking of Black creators and ownership, Ice Cube is definitely pissed the fuck off with Warner Brothers because he feels like they're strong holding the Fridays franchise. And he's been trying to make it for years. So he recently just had a tweet, saying that, it's not me. I really wanted to do this. And, we're really jeopardizing, Black culture. We can do more. We can provide more jobs. We can do all these things. But baby, when you don't read the terms and conditions, he doesn't have the rights to Friday.
So he wrote it, but they own it.
Yep.
And that's common for artists.
Shit.
Yep. And so, please, creatives, learn from your predecessors. Learn that when you are creating something, make sure the shit is yours.
Yeah. Like Snoop. Snoop just got ownership of his masters.
He's like 60.
Yep. And Master P helped him. Like, he just got ownership of his masters.
Baby, do you know how many pennies you were missing?
People not playing a long game. They're just trying to get a check to take care of their family in the moment.
Specifically in the music industry. Like, my boyfriend is in the music industry to a certain degree. Well, used to be. And he... just the information, the details that I receive about like some of the artists that we love and how they have nothing on the back end after years of just touring and working and singing all these songs that we all know, they have nothing to show for it, and it's crazy to me
because it's still a job. I mean, you're hired help until you like create a business like out of your artistry. You can't partner with anybody like how Beyonce would partner with somebody with Coachella. You can't negotiate. You bring nothing to the table but a voice.
And see, they don't understand that, and they don't know that until they get old and realize they need some shit to continue to keep them living the lifestyle that they used to.
So what's popular now is most companies won't even hire you unless you have like a following on Instagram, but that creates the boundary between okay, we're going to take you, what you bring behind you.
Yep.
Because you've already done half of the work for them.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's you're easily to invest in because they know that you have a following.
You're easily marketable at that point.
And you can easily negotiate for yourself.
Exactly. You hold the cards because you have the viewership, but you have to know the legalities of things to be on some boss ass shit. Don't just come in there storming loud and yelling and they still gonna take away everything you fucking own. You better know your shit.
And let's just also point out the other end of the spectrum. Most times black people don't have that, and we don't know that because we're already in circumstances of desperation.
Exactly.
And that has just been a part of our lifestyle since forever. So even if you are trying to understand these things and you don't, and you hire someone and then that person fucks you over, it's like, is it still my fault? Because I tried to, do my due diligence and it just didn't play out that way. But our economic and our social status in this world just puts us so far behind sometimes. It's really like we're playing catch up, and it's hard. It really is.
We are playing catch up.
It isn't everyone's, like, everyone don't want to be like a piece of shit and don't understand themselves in the industry that they're in.
Exactly.
But sometimes they really just be playing out like that.
Yeah, and they definitely have no problem seeking out those who are in poverty. There's a reason for that.
They prey on that. They know that.
On that.
They know that.
They want you to be stupid. They want you to not be able to have any money because any money that they give at you, you'll say yes to it.
And this is in any industry.
Any industry. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I will always tell people when you are looking at contracts, don't take the first number.
Nope.
Get a lawyer.
Yes.
Or get a very smart friend. Reach out to your cousin who understands something, and y'all get to Googling something.
What's that legal payment plan thing that you can get?
A legal payment plan?
It's like a legal thing that you can do. You can call them. It's like a really cheap service, like $20 a month. And you can call them and ask questions.
I didn't know
Is
that.
it legal pay? Legal? My mom used to have it. I don't know what the hell
they do like
called.
all your legal advice for you?
Yeah, they do like legal advice. You pay like a small monthly fee.
That's a good investment, though.
And they'll help you. So let's say, God forbid, that I had to go to jail. That's not so far-fetched, y'all.
Jesus.
But my mom wants to find like the best criminal attorney. She would call that specific number, and they will give you like the best criminal attorneys. They'll set everything up for you. Sometimes they'll even look at contracts and stuff for you for free. So they do like minor legal stuff for a small price. I forgot what the hell it's called.
I like that.
Legal pay,
I know
legal price.
there is, I wouldn't say something similar, but there's a resource here, like legal aid you can call, and they might can start pointing you in the right direction. But
I mean, and Google is your friend.
Google
Best
is
friend.
absolutely your friend.
Use it to your motherfucking advantage. Stop waiting on people on Instagram to tell you shit they don't even know about.
Oh my goodness.
Please.
It is so many Instagram gurus out here, and I'm just like,
I get so
Maybe
many
the
DMs
Clubhouse.
over things that's Google. Like, what does this mean? What does this angel number mean? I'm like, Google.
yeah.
Right. Now, if you want another opinion or you're asking, like, how do you feel about this, then that's different. But when you have no inclination of what the hell is actually going on and you waiting for someone else to tell you, that's how you turn into a sheep. Think on your own.
That's what a lot of us are, and we're lazy.
Very.
But also that contradicts our whole view of community. Like, sometimes I would come to you for podcast advice.
Sure.
But I wouldn't come to you for, like, maybe how to make a tennis shoe advice. And a lot of people come without even doing background homework. Like, we don't even know how to approach the credible source correctly as
yes.
people.
And that's how you lose mentorship. Because if you are seeking mentors, they want somebody who already has done their due diligence.
Yep.
They do not want you to just be a bland crayon. Somebody's just asking a whole bunch of questions. They want to see, like, are you focused?
But sometimes
Did you
that's
do
what
your
we want.
research?
We want just someone to just regurgitate everything that they know.
Get a life coach.
And I mean, I don't even want to be a life coach if that's what you want. Like, what is that about? God, no.
You want somebody to tell you yes. But the thing is, true advice comes from a place of you already doing some homework on what you are asking questions about.
I agree.
Because how are you really going to get to the answer? Like, certain things you have to experience for yourself. Because it's not just about the knowledge, it's about the journey to even get to the knowledge, because that builds character as well. So asking 1,000 questions, I kind of feel like shortens your opportunity to truly learn the things that you're trying to engulf yourself in, whatever industry that is.
Sure.
I agree.
So I don't know Ice Cube got enough money to buy the rights, I feel like.
Do he? Because they going to
He got that little basketball thing and all the residual. Well, this ain't turned out too great, so I don't know what residuals he got.
That press works because Dave Chappelle just got his after all these years.
Yep.
That's very true.
Netflix, right? Wasn't he, like, battling with them?
CBS.
And HBO.
Yeah. But see, that's the power of the people. If somebody say, like, hey, they not paying me, don't support them. And literally, shit got shut down.
Because real wealth is in the people, not the dollar.
Yeah. And
the rich forget that
the
part.
quicker we understand that.
Oh, they know. That's why they turn us against each
that's
other.
true.
They
That's
know.
true.
We don't.
We don't know. That's right. You right. That is absolutely right.
You
So
ain't that
we'll
rich being
see.
dumb.
We'll see. Well, maybe we should
best of luck.
boycott Warner Brothers, or I don't know. I think of WB just always.
You better go to
irritates my
Tyler
spirit.
Perry Studios next.
That's what I was about to say.
I know,
like,
and just get the
listen,
family friend hookup. Like, come
Listen.
on.
y'all
He
better
gonna
go
look
ahead
out.
on and call Tyler Perry.
Or won't
Or
you?
start your own if you want to do your own production.
Exactly. I think he wants to do the same thing because, with John Witherspoon gone and, like, a couple of people that were part of the franchise is gone. But my thing is, won't you be like those smart-ass people who did Scary Movie without the Wayne brothers?
It stopped being good after them, though.
That's what I'm saying. But they found a way to, like, maneuver the shit that those black men created and try to still make money off of it.
They should have just dropped
They
it.
They
appropriated
should've.
it. It wasn't
They really
good.
did.
It was so bad.
It wasn't good.
It was so bad.
Do they own it? I guess the Wayne Bros don't own it no more.
Probably not.
not.
But they got a shit ton of money, honey. So that probably didn't even matter to them.
Exactly.
That family money.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were
I'm
very
pretty
smart.
sure they have something
that,
on the back end.
That entire family, they went into this thing with a plan.
Oh, yeah. That's how you're
that
supposed to
mother,
do.
She got like 10 kids.
Baby.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get a puppy. I can't even imagine 10 people.
And she paid off all of them.
Yep.
Like, ooh, and the grandbabies.
That's too many people.
Not for me.
Yeah. 10 children?
Coming out with my vagina?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Somebody gonna have to tag me out. Somebody gonna have to come in and stuff in for me.
Me and God already had a conversation. The Creator knows I'm not the parent to be having 10 kids. Hell to the no.
I mean, God is still working on me, but the answer is a no. The answer is a no. I won't be able to do that. God bless anybody who has that amount of kids.
God bless your
the
soul.
force is with you. The answer is no.
You
I
want
know
to be living
women.
like the color purple.
Yeah, no.
Somebody plantation.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Well, we're just going to pray for Ice Cube. I mean, he has a lot of good things going for him.
Yeah.
But I hope people who are creatives who want to get into this space own your shit because you will regret it later. The money looks good up front now, But do you imagine how much money he would have made if he owned all of it?
Yeah.
As many times it gets played on TBS and all these movie channels on Netflix, he's missing out on so many pennies.
He could have created careers, his own studio, his own awards show.
That's what I'm saying.
Black folk run Friday, every single last one of them in the hole. That man would be a gazillionaire by now.
I'm saying off of that, and he's wrote so many great produced so many great movies that are, as we call it, hood classics.
So let me just try to understand this. He's getting a percentage, but not what he could be getting because he doesn't own it.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
The insanity of you created it and somebody else
and
owns
it's not
it.
yours. Like what?
Like what?
It still baffles me that people
can
do autobiographies of you and you don't have nothing to do with it.
And you dead. And your family not
crazy?
paid.
And your family not even.
And I'm not making not one penny.
Not one.
I don't like it.
The logic, the things we do for money, and you
the
can
damn
build a
audacity
whole brand off of one skill. Like,
exactly. Like you can be creative. That's what I'm saying. It's just so these loopholes that these people have, the gatekeepers. It's disgusting. Like the audacity of you profiting off of someone else's pain, life story, and the people who are related to her, who have the will, everything, they not seeing nothing.
If by gatekeeper you mean predator, then okay.
It's tomato to me.
the middleman is the professional man.
It's the same ketchup bottle says whatever. So for our Black Magic this week, unfortunately, today is the last day of Black History Month, and I'm Black every single day, but February, we just add a little razzle-dazzle to it.
We blackity black.
We black, super black. So for Black History Month, we're going to be honoring Dr. Shirley Jackson. She's a theoretical physicist and an inventor, and she's also known as the superwoman of science. She has conducted so many physics experiments that with her research, she was able to help others invent the fax machine, touch-tone phone, fiber optic cells, so the reason why your phone's so fast, so 4G, 5G, all that stuff, solar cells, and technology behind caller ID and call waiting.
Oh, that's awesome.
She is also the first Black woman to earn her doctorate from MIT, which was in 1973. In 1995, President Bill Clinton appointed Dr. Jackson to serve as chairman of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. That also makes her the first Black woman and woman for that role. Also, she is also the president of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which she is also the first woman and Black woman to serve in this position as well. And this school is the oldest technological research university in the U.S., also ranked top 50 in the U.S. as well.
Yay. That's awesome.
Wow.
Talking about a badass Black woman.
Yeah, and not a lot of like Black people occupy spaces in this industry.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
It's
if you listen to the show,
innovate
STEM.
our own spaces in this industry.
STEM is so important, especially for women. That is just not taught enough because we are taught at a young age that building or doing anything with your hands,
math and science
for a man.
Just aren't for us.
Women are supposed to have babies and cook and clean and do all that cute stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, we matter too. We're smart too. We can change the world the same way a man can with our mind.
They know that. We created it.
Exactly.
Which is why they try to keep us in this stupid ass box.
Apparently so.
People are trash.
They are. But thank you, Dr. Jackson, for your contributions. And I can only imagine the things that
I just want to know how much she's paid. Cause I just know she's underpaid.
Like, she should.
And undervalued.
She should have at least like $30 billion for 4G, 5G.
Just that alone.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's just like a rough estimate.
Like we so in love with the art or the skill what we do as Black people. We're not thinking about the business aspect of how to negotiate these things.
Listen.
Nope. Because I'm not doing it for the love. No. You're going to pay me.
You're going to pay the fuck out of
me.
For the culture.
Yes.
Okay.
And people don't even know about her. And that's the thing. Like, we can't just rely on institutions of education to teach Black people about themselves.
No.
And we can't keep relying on honorary spaces of being the first and only. Like, if she is wise enough, hopefully she could create her own school eventually or something, or somebody in her legacy do it. But this shouldn't end with her.
No.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she has stuff going on. But those are the things that aren't seen.
Yeah.
Those are the things that aren't truly valued. If you look at the TV, you know, we don't see a lot of things that are happening locally in so many areas positively. You know, we know Ray Ray got shot. We know that something is going on with Ronisha, aka COVID. Donald Trump smacked somebody up and he's upset, and it's always something. But it's like when it comes to honoring people who have done so much for their community, it's silence.
Because we don't own our narrative. Like, you have black media, and it's real big, but it's an underground industry, and people don't value it or seek it because it's easy to turn on a device versus I have to go to my own phone and research who this person is, and I never heard of them. And
Like the audacity that you have to research.
Right?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. So yeah, these stories always really excite me because I hope they inspire, especially women, to get into science, get into engineering, get into technology, get into the damn math. Like, these are not gender-based roles. Are you fucking smart enough? That's really, it's just your level of competency more than anything. It has nothing to do with what's in between your legs.
Truthfully.
Yeah. So, shout out to her. Congratulations and thank you. Because, baby, I don't know what I would be without my 5G.
Okay.
I don't know what I would do without my fiber optic, okay?
Or that fax machine, because back in the day.
Or that fax
Baby,
machine.
I do a digital fax. That's how, because I work from home. So, yeah, I need that.
Same.
Because, baby, I'm not shooting no papers through to nobody. You can't get it through an email, baby. You're not going to catch the memo. So, for our panel discussion this week, you've been hearing her talk. And also, first of all, she's amazing, y'all.
Aww,
but the wonderful and beautiful Zana, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. She does 1,000 things, so I'm gonna let her tell y'all everything she has going on.
All right, so I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. I have my own business called I Am Aspiring because clearly I do a lot of things, and in my mind I'm doing nothing, so I'm gonna go.
I just say you are, but you ain't. But go ahead.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I have my own business called Diaspora Botanica, and it's small. And I sell fixed altar candles for like your spiritual rituals. I have my own tarot business, named Epitome of Tarot, aka Epitome of Woman, which is my social media platform name. And I'm a practicing herbalist. Been practicing since 2016. I'm a photographer.
Didn't I tell y'all she do a lot?
And I have my own podcast, Epitome of Woman podcast, which is all eccentric to the black woman and her healing and personal experience. And that's about it for now.
First of all, can we talk about the elderberry? So I just ordered from her about 2 weeks ago. And this is not to gas anyone up because I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I've had syrup elderberry and I'm not like gulping down something in the refrigerator. It actually was very tasty. You know, she keeps talking about this honey child. I don't know if this is Jesus honey. I don't know whose honey it is. Winnie the Pooh's honey. But baby, the elderberry that I had previously also had honey. And baby, that thing was not the same. It was not the same. I had to take a shot of holy water.
So raw honey is like still very sweet because there's no chemicals in it to like try to pasteurize it. So it's real good.
So what I got, the Similac version of the honey?
Like liquid honey is like pasteurized.
You probably did get like a grade A version.
Oh, baby. Yeah, it was nasty. So yes, it was. The product was absolutely great.
Thank you. I put my soul into it, y'all.
Yeah, you can taste
it. I love all things herbal and holistic.
Just order it.
Yes, I am.
Make sure you can have it.
Oh yeah, I can. Elderberry syrup. It's a lot of misconceptions. Like people just think you have to not do anything, but I'm pretty for sure that that's a lie. You still, of course, need to research everything, but a lot of things that a lot of my supplements, my vitamins, the herbs that I was taking and using prior to pregnancy, I can still do with no problem.
That's
Some
good.
things, of course, you have to cut out, but most of it was still the same.
For our topic for this week is how can Black women heal? And I know that's a lot to swallow. It's a lot to say. Mm-hmm. It took a lot for me to actually come out my mouth. And at this point, I know because we did the unprotected part 1 and part 2, but we have to discuss some of the traumatic shit that we've endured and the traumatic shit that we have caused for others. And we have to, one, start by accepting responsibility of the things that have happened. And we also need to forgive ourselves. As Zana told me in my psychic reading, you have to forgive your ignorance. You didn't think I remembered.
I didn't remember. I don't even remember saying that, but I agree with that.
And that stuck with me. Because I don't think we give ourselves enough grace to move properly, to be able to move on. So I'm going to ask y'all, how do you think we can start getting Black women to heal?
Well, one, I look at the word healing as a return back to your natural state. So, which is from Dr. Patrice Some. But a lot of women don't know what the issue is with them. I think too many of us blame ourselves for the conditions around us. And I studied sociology in school as one of my minors, and we had to study how people operated in groups and environments. A lot of us are existing in environments that aren't controlled by us. So a lot of Black people overall, we don't have no control over our nutrition, our education, our living conditions. So you're talking about people that's living in poverty, and when you live in poverty, you'll do anything to anybody to survive. And this is generational poverty that the Black woman is enduring. And the Black woman is the original woman and human on the planet. So you're talking about centuries of just betrayal and destruction of an image of a character. And now in 2021, you have a lot of subconscious problems. You have rape, whether you've been raped or somebody else been raped, molestation, neglect, fatherlessness, motherlessness, like generationally.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of unknown knowledge of what we've been through as a society or as a community. And we're just angry at this point. Like, a lot of Black women are emotionally destroyed.
Yeah.
Yes, God.
Yes.
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 And we don't trust each other as women. Like, outside of men, we can't look at each other. Because the thing about life is a woman can't look at another woman without seeing herself.
Yes.
Or seeing what she lacks.
Exactly.
Yep.
And the lack is the lack of self-knowledge. And our community knowledge. We really have to learn how to be vulnerable. And Black women don't really understand the language of truth. When it comes to our emotions, we just say, I'm okay. I got it.
Yep.
And
it's a lie.
Instead of admitting, like, I need you. Can you come help? And we've been so strong for so long, because unlike other cultures, Black women haven't been allowed to just be submissive. And this is why I don't think Black women should identify with feminism, because when did you ever have a chance to be...
Me and Markia.
That's not my thing. That word is not even in my vocabulary.
No.
I don't want to take it away from Black people, because some people believe in it.
That's
but
cool.
Find me one
But make sure you say
piece.
you're a Black feminist, because it's not the same.
Doesn't
White feminism is not.
I don't even believe in it for Black women at
No.
all. Because
Like, at all?
what point in history has the Black man ever been ahead of the Black woman? During slavery, Black men were beaten and embarrassed in front of Black women. Like, Black men were beaten and put in such a submissive state that Black women got it ahead of them.
It was
very true.
psychological
During the
warfare
war,
for so
yeah,
long.
during the war, Black women was able to get jobs. And then you start to see that split in the 60s where Black women started advancing economically, or you start seeing the rise of social welfare. So poor Black women start relying on the government while Black men kept declining. So I can't find nowhere, and it's not to like undermine the problems that Black men have caused Black women, but I mean systemically and economically, Black women has always been economically ahead of the Black male overall.
True.
And so
It
now
still
we're
is.
at this point where we're economically more advanced and mentally more mature than Black men, because men are still psychologically in a bastardized little boy state. They play video games, they hide in their room, they can't communicate. And now there's this divide.
Baby.
Child.
So I don't know a place in history where the Black woman has been able to just be a woman,
That's very true.
a daughter.
Yeah.
I'm always seeing girl mother. You rarely see a Black woman that has space to enjoy and figure out who she is absent of raising children. Because since slavery, women been raising kids. If you have like 6 kids, you get like a pet cow to take home. If you're like a mulatto or light complexion woman, you get privileged to leave the plantation to go be a prostitute. So it's like, I don't understand where we've rested. I feel like the most rest we've had was COVID.
But we haven't.
We never have. And that's why that's like so ingrained in us now. You have to keep going. You have to keep working. If you stop, then you're lazy. If you rest, then you're a bum. It is so in us. Like you feel bad for resting, and that is just weird as shit. Okay,
and that's how mental illness
very
start.
weird. Yes,
because you'll spiral. Because after a while, things are being tugged to your moral obligation to whatever it may be, kids, husband, whatever. But what about who you are? And how do you ever find that place of balance?
You have to go so deep that it's scary.
Yeah.
Like, since slavery, they've shaved the black woman head when she first came to America.
And then they made us put head wraps on. And you could never...
Before that, because the head wrap might have saved the black woman. But it's you work side by side by your man now. So now you're in the field. So now y'all see each other as the same person. Now you get this psychological thing where it's like you both have to carry the same labor.
Yep.
Y'all both become servants. So now there's no hierarchy or no separation between the black man and the black woman.
So he loses the ability to even want to protect and
the capacity. How can he protect you?
Right.
Most black women are employed by white employers.
Right.
Your man not providing for you. So how you going to respect
them? So it's
them?
just another layer of further breaking that bond and that relationship between black men.
On purpose.
Yeah.
On purpose.
So now you don't trust your man. And you haven't trusted your man since the 18, 16, 1500s.
And then black men ask the question, why can't black women be submissive?
He can't. You're not going to submit to a man that's not in the right place. Manhood is destroyed. Most black men don't even know what manhood looks like. Everybody's seen Baby Boy.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what that is.
So
every woman, for the most part, has dated a man like his ass.
Absolutely.
So that movie is based on a book by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She was a black psychologist.
Yep.
And she based her practice in Washington, D.C., and she would observe the black man and see how, like, mentally and subconsciously he acts the same way as a child still.
Yep.
Calling it the crib, calling his woman his mama, too afraid to leave the nest.
Yep.
And, like, a lot of men still suffer from that because they don't have no type of example of how a man's supposed to be, or he goes to prison.
Yep.
And he wants to go to prison because his dad is there.
Yep.
And other men are there.
Yep.
So black women have to understand the condition of the black man. Like, we judge him, we angry at him, and at this point we don't even know why we're angry. We're betrayed without understanding, and this is like systemic trauma.
Yes.
Beyond our own households, and we keep looking at our own households and like pointing a finger, but not understanding the layers. Like, if a black man can't get a job and he can't get education and he poor, he's gonna sell drugs if it's the economy of his community.
Yep.
He's going to do what he knows in order to make money, whether it's robbing someone else, selling drugs, something illegal.
Yep.
If you talk to every man that has done that, most of the time they say, for my family.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now we're reaching this elevated state where we know we don't have to only do that.
Yep.
But too many of us are still in the unelevated state as a community.
And are comfortable with staying there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think another way that black women can heal is doing all that we can to really reclaim our womanhood and our images. And I don't mean like wearing your hair natural and putting on a hair wrap. You know? I mean, and like it goes so much more deeper than that. It's understanding why black women had to wear head wraps. It's understanding what was the significance when we were when our ancestors were getting their hair braided. Like, all of these things are imagery, and they serve a purpose. And when we forget about it, I think we do ourselves a disservice because we're losing a part of ourselves that's so important. And to your point, when you were mentioning about women just never having a chance to understand themselves outside of motherhood, I'm just coming into motherhood, mid-30s, and I'm happy about that, but I cannot tell you how many times I've been asked why haven't I already had children, or when am I going to have children. It's just always been this thing, and it's like, why are we expected to just mother? Why can I not enjoy my life? Why can I not figure out who I want to be, what I want to do with my life, make some mistakes, learn from that, start some shit, end some shit, maybe start something again. Like, I love the fact that I've had the opportunity to do that because it makes me want to continue to hold on to that throughout motherhood, and when my child is good and grown, I can't lose myself. I never want to. It's not an option. I don't care what happens. I refuse to lose who I am as an individual, as a woman, outside of being anything to anyone else. And I think that's one way we can definitely heal, when you understand that it is not your responsibility, even if you have children, it is not your responsibility to control every facet of their lives without giving yourself anything. It's not your responsibility to do anything other than continue to build into your own self. Like, I tell my friends all the time, how are you going to be good for anybody else if
you're not good to yourself?
Yeah, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't.
You can't.
And that's one way that I know for sure we can heal. Just trying to get a better idea about what womanhood means to us and how do we get back there.
And how do you love yourself?
Yeah.
And what does that mean for you? Because I think in my own personal journey that I'm still in is understanding that my personality really isn't who I am. That's what I've created. And when you understand that you've been probably running around with a representative majority of your life, you probably don't know who the fuck you are still, because you have created defense mechanisms. You have a lot of trauma bonds. You have a lot of things that your mind, your body wants to protect you, but that comes with a price. And sometimes that costs you your peace. Sometimes that costs you your happiness. And when you are in a space where you feel like, oh, well, me just being a bitch and having an attitude, that's not who I am. Is it really who you are, sis? Or are you still mad that your father left you at 2 years old? Are you mad that your uncle touched you when you were 8? A lot of this stuff is residual pain that we've never acknowledged. And it has recycled and have turned into so much hatred and anger, so much disrespect, so much, sometimes I talk to women and they're like, they hate men. They'll fuck them, but they hate them. And it's like,
and it's why? Men like that. It's men like that as well.
And it's like, but why? Why are you like that? What happened? And it's like, clearly you had some type of traumatic experience where you say, like, fuck every man, fuck everybody with a penis. Fuck it. And that's not healthy. So people who say stuff like that out loud, I'm like, are you listening to yourself? Do you think this is actually a healthy course of action to be in society with this type of mindset? You don't want to question this? You're cool? You're chilling? You think it's okay to be angry 24/7? You think it's okay for you to point fingers at everyone else besides accepting responsibility for your own actions that have taken place?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Because deep down, most women I meet, even when they're bisexual, lesbian, they deep down want a man. Whether it's in the father position or the partner position, deep down, they want to be able to trust a man. But when it comes to acting on it, they don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
And trust is deep, and trust is broken between a black man and a black woman. But I believe blindly, back to your point, basically, that you can't really prosper at anything until you reach womanhood. That's a lot of women are, again, having children out of young-mindedness or I don't want to say wedlock because I don't even believe in that, but having children before they even stop being a child.
Yes.
And so now you're having 2 kids raising each other.
Yeah, I have friends who will say they've grown up with their children.
And then you say, like, you're not going to lose yourself now. It's because you've made sure to figure out what you were as a woman, your purpose first. And now that child can prosper in whichever way possible.
Right.
And Markia, how would you feel, like, prior to you being pregnant at the age that you are now? Can you imagine what type of mindset or how would you be with your child if you were younger? Not saying that you wouldn't have been good, but imagine all the things, all the lessons you've learned and all the experiences you have to endure so you can be healthy for your child.
So, quick story. I literally found out that I was pregnant probably about 4 days before my 33rd birthday. And, they say 33 is like your God year and all these things happen, all these changes happen. And this for sure was the biggest change
clearly.
in my life thus far. But this is actually the second time that I've been pregnant. I was pregnant before 10 years ago. So I was 23 years old. And I always say to myself, it was such a traumatic experience for me, but I always say, like, that really was just God. And it was just the creator because I would not have been the mom that I know I'm going to be now because I just didn't understand myself. I didn't have the lessons. I didn't have the support in the partner. I didn't deal with the trauma and the all of the unhealed parts of myself. And I don't think that ever totally goes away, but now I have a better understanding of acknowledging it, of dealing with it, and not putting it on the back burner.
Yeah.
So I feel more whole and I feel more complete to just be the parent that my child needs versus me putting all of my shit and projecting it onto them. So I know for sure that I could not have been a parent that I would be proud of. It just would have been me repeating toxic cycles all over again. So,
and that's what separates the girl from the woman. The girl sees the world against her. Everything's about her. She's still trying to figure herself out, all these traumas. But the woman knows, like, no matter what happens, it's going to get handled. No matter what needs to be done, it's getting done. Girl. I can trust because I trust myself. I'm going to do it because it has to be done.
When I'm telling you, that is like... before a baby was thought of, like, that's my motto in life. I'm just like, whatever needs to get done, the shit is going to get done because I know it's going to, because I'm praying for the strength and the discernment and anything else that I need to get me through this, but it's getting done. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Nope.
So what are some of you guys' personal rituals for healing?
At this point, I no longer see me in a healing state. I see me more in a maintaining, a growing state. I have my moments when I grieve out healing pains, but mainly I wake up, I light my incense, I sage my house, I drink my smoothie, make my juice. Sometimes I meditate, or I just get straight to my desk and I write. I get going. I've learned the healing is the arrival, but once you arrive, it's like a matter of nurturing your spirit, nurturing your inner space, and making sure you're taking care of that core part.
It's like weight loss. Like, you can get to your goal, but your ass can't stop.
Yeah.
You have to do things to maintain that.
You gotta keep the work. I'm still in my phases, so I am not where Zana is at all, baby.
There's a lot of pain behind this.
I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but I would definitely say that I am a lot closer in the things.
For sure.
Oh, you're very close. Probably past me.
I mean, and this shit takes time, you know.
It does.
Healing is, and I will say this for my own personal journey, this is the most uncomfortable, most unnerving, most scariest shit that I've ever faced in my entire life. Because when you boil it fucking down, and it's like, I've been holding on to some shit for so long. And when you emotionally let go of things, you literally feel the weight and pressure off of you. Like, you literally will feel lighter. Like, it is the best feeling in the world. But it is not fucking easy. I'm not about to sit up here and tell you saging and doing cartwheels in the living room
It cures it all.
It cures it all. I'm not saying that don't sage. Please protect your space. But it takes real fucking work. Like, you have to ask the real question, which is why.
And it makes you uncomfortable, and it forces you to be it forces you to be accountable. Like, I wouldn't say I have rituals for healing, but I have things that I do more when I'm feeling in like a lower vibration, like at a lower frequency.
Which is what?
I unplug from everything and everyone, and when I say unplug, I mean
you baby with your feet up naked.
You can't reach me at all. Like, the only person that I may even respond back to is like my mom, and that'll be via text. But I can't be bothered. I don't want to be bothered. I need that time, that space to just figure some things out, rearrange some things, and do it without anyone else's opinion and advice. So that's typically what I do, because the things that you named, I do that shit every day.
Me too.
Girl, I love me some incense. I mean, like, I live off of them. I have a huge box of just a whole bunch of aromatherapy, but incense are at the top of the list. I light an incense every day. I'm saging the sheets. I'm spraying down this, that. Sage my damn self. It's a thing. It's
and it doesn't have to be the people who are listening. Like, you can find whatever your ritual is. But I will say, the questions that you have to ask yourself, like, if you really want some radical healing, is I think writing, scripting is really good. When you start to do shadow work, because baby, I'm in therapy, baby, when you answer the question that you don't want to answer, because so in therapy for me, after the session, she'll send me journal questions, and baby, every time she sends a question, I'm literally just staring at the fucking computer, and I'm like, like, she for real once, exactly, like, you want me to answer this for real? Like, this is not rhetorical, like, this is not a thing. And answering the real questions, the deep rooted questions that's going to really uproot who the fuck you think you are. That shit is going to be epic. And so for me, like, I wake up, I actually have a vision board that I made through Canva, my little homemade vision board, and I stare at it for 17 seconds, or I try to think of some type of positive thought for about 17 seconds. I forgot who said it, but they said if you can hold a thought in your mind for 17 seconds, it can come into fruition. So I hold something positive for 17 seconds, whether, it's me smiling, whether it's me getting a bag, something.
I can see that.
I do my affirmations in the morning because I think we are way too cruel to ourselves. And we do not speak positive the way that I think that we should to ourselves. We do it very well for other people. Well, for the people that aren't haters, but for other people, we'll congratulate them like, you're so beautiful. Like, I really love your hair. I really love your outfit. But baby, when do you say that to yourself?
Most times I notice we do have some pretty negative self-talk. Like, it's like, damn.
And that creates your fucking atmosphere.
Yeah.
So even just like the slightest thing where it's like you make a mistake and you're like, damn it, I'm so stupid. I'm like, you know what? No, the fuck, I'm smart as shit. I just made a mistake. The fuck? But those little nuances that we've learned probably in pre-K or things that we've picked up from our parents and things of that nature has subconsciously landed on us. And here we are calling ourselves dumb and stupid and unattractive, or regurgitating what our bullies said or what great grandmother said, because your butt too big, your nose too wide, you're too light, you're too dark, one nipple bigger than the other. Who knows? It's always it's
like
always
some of our
something.
aging women population are not nice.
Cruel.
They are not nice.
And it sits on your spirit for a long time because you'll start to believe what these people are saying to you, because it's like, if they see it, why would they, if it's not true, why would they say it? And you start internalizing that, and that sticks with you for the rest of your fucking life, unless you once again heal, but you have to do the work to remove yourself from that trauma. And that is some painful shit.
And all healing isn't internal. Like, all healing, you don't hold the answer to all your healing. I actually got a call today after I get out of here. I have to call a friend I haven't talked to in over a year, because we fell out over a year ago, and we haven't talked in months. And we have to talk today. Like, we already stated our parts of, like, apologies, but I want to verbally speak about the things that bothered me, moment to moment, memory to memory, so that she can finally know where we went wrong in our friendship. And that takes courage.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Because I have anxiety for you for this conversation now.
I don't have anxiety. I've done it so much recently with people that I've learned that the reason why a lot of my shadows wasn't healing, because I thought I was the one that's supposed to fix it. And I'm learning some things aren't you. And the parts that are you, you have to own up to them and discuss those things.
Yep. That's a damn fact.
So what about the stuff that's not you? How do you,
well, the part that's
handle
not
that?
you tell them. You tell them, like, this call, I have to tell her the parts of our friendship that I didn't like. In this moment, you did this, and I felt like this. And then they get to explain their part.
So in the situations where that person is no longer available, or the lines of communication are just totally closed, then what? Are you writing forward, like a letter, or you just letting that out and you just go on?
You learn flow. Like, flow in life is important. If you're still thinking about something and you haven't fixed it yet, just know your subconscious is leading you to the answer. Like, you don't have to force what's in you, because you're going to arrive there. But you will reach a point when you have to act. You've ran into people that you haven't seen in years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what you want to say, and it'd be your chance to say it.
Right.
You choose, because life gives you choice.
That's true.
But when you're apart from people, you're being prepared through other things.
That's true.
But I know in Buddhism they believe that if you have a problem and it happened with somebody else, the only way it can get fixed is with that person.
I think that's pretty accurate because how else is someone going to fix a problem for you when it ain't their damn problem? Like, you got to go to the source, right? I always say that. Like, I always say, if you have a problem with someone and they don't know about it, it's not their problem.
Exactly.
I always say that. So,
but is it worth confronting the person?
Absolutely, because that's how you reach adulthood.
Now, see,
because a lot of times, the thing is, we internalize so much when we were younger that we don't connect and communicate and express. The more you practice communication, trial and error, you're not going to fix every relationship. But the more you arrive to conversations that is hard, you start to realize that nothing is impossible to handle. No relationship is too hard to handle or manage. So you don't necessarily have to fix every relationship. But if you learn accountability, you can be around more accountable people.
So what's your stance on communicating with someone who has abused you?
Abuse you how?
Physically or sexually or verbally?
I mean, if you want to state your case and express to them, look, you hurt me. If an apology is enough to you, then yeah. But for me, if you abuse me, there ain't nothing to talk about. Like, we just fighting.
Yeah.
But people love people that abuse.
Yeah.
I know people that date people that fight them. But they over empathize with their trauma. So they see the longer term goal. And if that's the work they want to do, let them. But I'm more like I don't feel safe, I gotta go.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you still just as fucked up as when I left you.
I appreciate you and I love you, but I don't feel safe, so I'm leaving.
But that's personally, like, that has happened to me. I've ran into someone that I may have had a falling out with, and I just chose not to approach or say anything or even explain why I felt the way that I did, because for one, before I leave any situation, you know why I felt the way that I did. And I'm just like, I guess this is me assuming, but I'm just like, you're still the same person and in the same situation and doing the same thing. You will be
so surprised.
I mean, and I can't say that you're wrong, but I also just get to the point of like, meh, fuck it. I don't hold on
because that's
when
safe.
when I am like totally done with you, you kind of don't exist
So
anymore.
would you consider this closure?
That's pride. I don't believe in closure. I think life continues.
That's
and how it continues. Yeah, pride protects you from like dangerous or shameful conversations most of the time. So like before you approach a conversation and you feel on the inside, you know what you want to say, and you're just like, I'd rather not.
Well, no, I don't feel any like I don't feel like any shame for saying something or not saying anything. I'm just like, no, don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of not interested in it.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And it's funny because I had this conversation with my therapist about a girl I befriended some years ago, but as time progressed, I literally can't stand her. And I mean, that's the nicest way I can put it. And I asked her, and I was like, you know, I did some really fucked up things in our friendship. I can be woman enough to, you know, own up to that. And I said, you know, but I don't want to be friends with her anymore. And I said, should I write her a letter? Because I really don't want to talk to the bitch. Like, I don't, like, her just breathing in the same vicinity of my oxygen, it pisses me off. So I asked her, and I was like, you know, maybe it would be better communication if I just wrote a letter. I just, you know, I apologize for the things that I've done. And not because I want to be friends with you, but I just want you to know that I acknowledge the things that I've done in this friendship that wasn't correct. This woman was like, and do you want to be friends with her? And I was like, no. And she said, and why are you doing this?
Because accountability is healing to the soul.
Accountability does matter, but maybe you can write that letter and not send it. I don't know.
Healing conversation. The thing is, you have to be very self-absorbed or in denial to think that you've grown and another person hasn't in your absence.
That's true.
And if you didn't care, you wouldn't even have came to the thought strongly about writing a letter.
That's very true.
And it's the problem is we bury things in our subconscious so deep that we have too much pride to actually act on it.
Yeah.
This is why Black women can't reach sisterhood. We don't know how to have the healing conversation. We just pull away. And we hope that we just get over it.
But what does that actually look like? And to make it a safe space.
It looks like how you feel it on the inside. You had this idea in your mind to write a letter, then another proudful woman talked you out of it. It's pride that ruins the Black woman mainly.
And it's crazy. Like, I don't have a problem you know, and I still don't to this day, and I still don't like her. I
You
still won't.
You don't like her because of who you remember her as. You don't know who she is now.
That's true.
No, I've encountered her recently. I still don't like her. Like,
and have you expressed that to her?
Yes. We're not, like, I am Karen cordial.
So get the apology over if that's what you want to do. Send a text or something. Instagram post. If that's what you really want to do.
You know what? It's really funny that you said that, because since what happened yesterday that I told you about with this accident, I think that's literally what I'm gonna do. Yeah. I'm gonna close up some things. And it's weird because I am a person, I called it closure, but I always felt the need, like, before I end things with anybody, I want you to know where I stand. And even if we can't come to an agreement where we're friends or whatever again, at least I respect exactly how you feel. And I created a space for you to be able to speak your mind, same here, and we can go about our business. But I do agree with you. I'm not a prideful person, but at the same time, I think I don't want things to be misconstrued that I want friendship. Literally, I just want to be like, I fucked up.
You have full control to put a boundary. Like, I'm just here to have this conversation to let you know what I did because I want to close this chapter in my life. But you don't have to be like, let's be girlfriends afterwards. Yeah. Like, you have to learn that closure is an illusion. Before. Like, what you really say when you want closure is like you want control over the outcome of the situation. And you have to realize that life is very ambiguous. You might have this conversation and be on a vacation with this girl next week and don't even know. Sure. But you have to allow yourself to be emotionally uncomfortable with the outcome of the situation.
That's true.
Like, when you close doors, you're just creating boundaries. And you close potentiality. Some people need the door closed, but don't close it before you get there.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about.
That is a lot to fucking unpack.
but I also think, like, the main thing, the topic here is just accountability. Whether you were right in the situation, whether you were wrong in the situation, because we're not always the perfect friend to people.
We're not,
and people aren't always the perfect friend to us. So, you know,
and that's a thing that people really don't talk about, because we aren't trained to be friends. No. We're trained to be partners, like lovers, but we have not found a way where we can have platonic and healthy friendships amongst people.
And this is why relationships fail, because the root of a good relationship is friendship.
Exactly. Yep. And we miss that main motherfucking ingredient.
Because we're making that conversation. Like, that's what a real healing is. It is. I see healing more like a dinner table. And it's the people you've met all over your life, and then you just sit there and you discuss and you pass around food, and it's like, yeah, I don't like how you did that last time, and y'all just laughing or crying, but those emotions are sincere.
Yep. What triggered y'all to get you to a point where you said, I need to start working on myself? What was that moment where you're like, I really need to get my shit together?
Maybe like 7-year-old on a bus, and I'm with my mom and my family at this point going through a whole bunch of things, like addictions and abuse. But perfect family on the surface, like good working class parents, great job, nice single town home. But on the inside, there's a lot of emotional betrayal and secrets in my family. And so my whole goal, my whole life was just to get away. Like, I want to just get out. And I internalized all the things that happened to me growing up, and I blamed myself. And I got to college, and, like, I learned so much. I went to school for psychology because I went to therapy one time. I was like, I want to be a therapist. And I was, like, learning, like, about our culture and family and myself and philosophy. And I was like, I think healing is what I really need. But for years, I did it isolated. And now in the past year and a half, it's just been like a matter of getting close to people, women and family. And it's like, oh, this is where the real healing. I can't heal myself until I heal with my people. So,
I would say probably when I got in like the 8th grade, so like middle school, being introduced to West African dance and culture and traditions. Yeah, at first it was just like something to do, and then it became a part of my life, and then it helped me understand that we didn't come from brokenness. So the things that I was experiencing, the same things, like this perfect picturesque lifestyle that we probably had, that people thought I may have had, because I lived in a rough neighborhood, but we were in like the good part of the rough neighborhood. And I didn't have my parents around growing up. My grandparents raised me, so I didn't experience a lot of like poverty, but everything else that you can think of, I experienced. Like everything else.
Right.
Like the lights wasn't off, but every damn thing else happened. So just understanding that what I was lacking and what I was yearning wasn't made up in my mind. Like I deserved it. It exists, and I could try to figure out what wholeness meant to me, and just rearrange everything in my life if needed in order to establish that. Because, like I said, that's not where we came from. So I think that's when it started for me. And child, it's a journey.
Y'all were young as hell. My shit was like a year ago.
Well, I said it's a journey because it's been happening since the 8th grade,
exactly.
Okay?
I would say, so I was in a really physically abusive relationship in my early 20s, and I got out of that situation, thank God. And I remember going through that breakup, because even though he hurt me in so many ways, I was so obsessed with him, like an unhealthy obsession, because I felt like I needed him more than I needed my fucking self.
Been there.
And I told myself and I told God, and I was like, I never want to feel like this again. I never want to be this weak. I never want to be this broken. I never want to feel like I have zero control of my life. And in that moment, and I still fucked up royally, trust me guys, but I knew I had to start loving myself more, because it blew my mind, because I also went to school for psychology. I'm like, how can someone like me have somebody beat, like I'm getting beat the fuck up? Like me. I have beat people up in my day, okay? I'm the one getting beat up. Like and so it bothered me so badly. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking about? Who was I? And when I think about those memories, I'm like, I really truly hated myself, and it showed.
You put your power in his hand.
Yep. First of all, I'm tripping because we all went to school for psychology at some point. I too went to school for psychology and got like 16 credits and was like, I think I want to do something different now.
Fashion
wasn't really my thing, but it started because of the things that I couldn't understand that were happening to me as a child, as a young adult. Yeah.
It's always the people who feel like an outcast. I feel like when you feel outcasted, you'll start paying attention to other people more than you're paying attention to yourself. And it's like a weird distraction. I know for me, especially, like, I have a very keen interest in other people. I cannot show that same keen interest in my damn self. It's like I can do it for other people, but I can't do it for myself. I can do it now, but I struggled with that. You know, I always was the friend who would do anything, like anything. My mother would say, like, you put your friends before your family. I'm like, yeah, but they understand me, and they, no, the fuck they didn't. They were using me. They were using the fuck out of me. And understanding that fear of abandonment, how that ties into my childhood. But you don't realize that when you're in the moment. No. You're not in the moment and like, you know what? I'm with this toxic ass guy because I miss my daddy. You're not going to think about that. But subconsciously, you really are. Like you were saying earlier.
And it teaches you that.
And exactly. And so it was like, okay, and when you think about love and relationships, who was your example? What was your environment like? Because 9 times out of 10, you will experience or do something out of whatever vision or whatever thing that you have seen. You will try to imitate that, even if you don't want to. And so I had to really break out of that. But the quarantine was the best thing that ever happened to me because I realized that stillness is the path of finding you. When you quiet yourself down, when you slow down, because I think for me, I make myself really, really busy. I like to be productive. I like to keep myself busy. I like to be a creative. My mind's 1,000 miles a minute. I'm on the phone. I'm doing this. I'm traveling. But baby, when Ronisha was like, all of y'all got to stay in the house. Y'all can't do nothing. I had to sit with my thoughts. That's a scary fucking place when you have zero control of it. And when you start seeing and thinking about the things from way back in the day and you sit with yourself and your thoughts, and I'm like, this isn't a safe place. Why am I feeling this way? I have to work on this. And here we are. So I think because I feel like everyone needs to be healed at some point. You're going to need it. You're not perfect. It's going to happen.
I think now healing is like so taboo. Like everyone says it, like, oh, heal this and heal that. Oh, la la. Like it's like something only hippy dippy people do. Yeah. But I think the shit is just really uncovering some things. Like just be still and uncover some shit and realize some shit, and then try to actualize what it is that you see in your mind, and you'll see those changes come to fruition in your life. I think that's just simply put what healing is, in my opinion.
I'm on this journey of vulnerability right now, and I had a phone call similar to your childhood. I grew up in the good part of the worst neighborhood.
Yes.
I'm from DC, y'all, and I'm from Southeast DC, and I grew up in a nice little neighborhood in Southeast. And my childhood best friend, I'm like finally opening up to her because she says, "Why did your mom sell your house?" And I finally was like, my mom was on crack. Like she lost our house and she had to like pawn things, and it was very hard for her. Like the best thing she could have done was just lose the house at that point. And she was like, "After all these years, you never said nothing." And I'm like, I was trying to survive. Like some people's traumas are short. Like my trauma led up through my teenage and young adult years, and it's like I'm not about to explain to you why I'm hurting while I'm hurting if I don't trust. So that was really interesting to see like our friendship, because we had a long conversation too recently, and she's crying and I'm crying because she didn't trust me, I didn't trust her. Aww. But I learned it's because I'm not saying what I really feel.
Right.
But if I tell the truth or my truth, I'll feel more free no matter what you do with it.
Yeah.
But that truth of like people see you in this house or they see you living a certain lifestyle. And she was like, "I thought you had the perfect life because you had both your parents."
Me and my best friend talk about that as well. Yep, we have those similar conversations.
It's funny what perception will do, because a lot of times, because I grew up the only child, I'm my mom's only child, and I lived in Philly, but we lived in a good neighborhood, middle class family. And so my cousins who came from the rougher parts of like North Philly, they hated me because they thought that I was better than them. When I was so excited to spend time with them because I'm by my damn self. I felt like I'm in an insane asylum. And I was a latchkey kid. So for me, it's like, damn, I want to be with my family and just have a good time because these are the closest I will ever get to having siblings. And they, not all the time, but they tortured me.
Yeah. It's perception. Like
because they thought I was rich, and they thought I was living like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They looked at me like Carlton. And if you know me, I'm not no fucking Carlton. But to them, it's like, oh, well, you live a better life than me, so that means you hate me. And all it is projection, because I never said I didn't love you or I looked at you like, I don't even know your economic status. I know I don't like your mother, but as far as like what you're internally going through or externally going through, I don't know. I'm just happy to see your ass because I don't get a chance to see you. But even in that, they hated me because I allegedly lived a better life.
I learned from my siblings, it's not that they hate you, they hate what you represent.
Yep.
And they taught me that.
Yep.
But that comes from, I think all that stuff is the healing. Those conversations, those rekindlings, fixing the Black family, the sisterhood. I don't think healing is an isolated thing. I think it takes a lot longer when we do it isolated. I do encourage all women to fix these relationships if possible.
Yes.
And the ones you can't fix, they're not ready.
Yeah. Because you can't get through life by yourself. You just can't.
You can't.
And you can't just build only family through friendship. That's nice. That's beautiful. But there's power in your own DNA. And when you get close to your family, you could tap into a lot if you can heal.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's some conversations that I definitely need to have with some family members. And some of them will result in a loss of friendship. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm just not at a place of doing it right now because I'm happy in my bubble. Me and my baby, and I'm good.
We don't need the baby stressing out. No. We don't need the baby part of the beef. Do that when you deliver.
Yeah, they will be had, just not right now.
I appreciate you guys for joining me for this conversation. Zana, thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know what the website is, where they can book a reading, where they can get some herbs, where they can do everything.
Go to www.diasporabotanica.com. There's tarot, there's elderberry syrups, kits, and candles. There's about to be oils too. So follow me on epitome of woman because I post more on my personal page than my business page. But also follow me on Diaspora Botanica on Instagram.
Yes, please support. It's very refreshing to see Black entrepreneur women. I like my Black entrepreneurs, period. But to see women doing it makes me so fucking happy. And to see her candles actually inside of OK Natural. If you're in Baltimore, please go pick them up.
OK Natural, I'll go down there.
Get her candles. I actually lit mine today, and just support your people. Mm-hmm. This is one of the main ways that you can keep the Black dollar in the community. Mm-hmm. Support your fucking people, and you can start really small with just a neighbor. You don't have to be out there marching through the streets. You can keep it really simple.
You ain't got to if you build your own economy in your own neighborhood.
Baby.
Support is multi-layered. You can jump in wherever you feel comfortable. Yep. You don't have to do protest if that's not where you are. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But make sure you support your neighborhood. Support the people that's close to you, because that's essentially that is your community. That's your first community. Then you have layers in that as well. But support the people that's close to you, even if you don't really know them. And when I say close, I just mean in proximity. I don't mean in relationship. Because some people think that you only can support those that's been your ride or die since y'all been in Pampers. That's not true. I met her once at a party where I was very intoxicated. I had Hennessy, girl. Now, I was in a different place, Markia. I'm a tequila drinker. And we just been talking. And it's just good to just be around beautiful Black women, and that's just
always
on period. So thanks again for joining us. So for our Ask to Read this week, this is going to be really funny since we kind of talked about this. Michelle wants advice about her best friend. She really loves her best friend. She enjoys spending time with her, but she feels like her best friend is way too clingy, and she doesn't want to hurt her feelings by telling her the full truth, but she does feel the need to get space from her, especially now that she started dating. She wants to know what to do. Girl, if you don't talk to her,
just say that. Yeah.
Girl,
it's that simple.
Yeah, tell her that.
Yeah, and you don't have to be rude about it. I think people, I had a hard time being able to express myself in a way where you didn't want to punch me in the face. I am not the best person for approach. I'm very, very non-bullshit, non-fluff. And I'm working on it. God is still working on me, because there's a way that you can still get your truth across without you literally purposely offending people. Now, you can't help, but you know what your intentions are when you deliver messages. I knew what the fuck I was doing. I didn't care. But now in this process, I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's not the right thing to say at this moment. Maybe I need to go about this a little bit more gently. And Michelle, and I think you should do the same thing with your friend. If that's your real friend, you should be able to be. That's the whole premise of the friendship, of being honest and being transparent. Now, you shouldn't be rude and be like, bitch, you get on my fucking nerves. You can say, hey, I really enjoy spending time with you.
Agreed.
I really value our friendship, but I'm dating someone else, and I really want to be able to split my time up more with him. And that's it. There's a way for you to but be honest.
But on the flip side, if that situation doesn't work out with you and this person, don't expect her to run to your aid and then you become okay with her being around all the time again.
Right.
Don't do the push and the pull.
Yeah. Create the boundary no matter who is there. If you feel like your space is being encroached upon, then that's create the boundary.
That's my one advice to Black women. Stop self-isolating yourself when you get a man that you actually like.
You still need your friends.
Bring your friends around. Let him meet your family, because you will learn a man much quicker around people. And if you fix your trust around women, you ain't got to hide your man from women. So if you just learn, you ain't got to separate it.
Baby, that's the word. That is the word. But had a conversation, and I hope that works out. But if you are afraid to talk to your friends,
that ain't your friend.
That ain't your damn friend.
Because you don't trust.
Because you don't trust.
You can make a friend out of them.
Yeah. But that's your associate. That is it. My friend, I should be able to come to you and say, bitch, you hurt my feelings. Or, hey, I'm not feeling your energy today.
I'm just getting there with friends.
Yeah, same.
It's a process.
It's definitely a process, because you have to consider their sensibilities and vulnerabilities as well as yours. So
yeah.
It's a process.
It's a process, child. Well, Michelle, I hope that conversation works out for you, and you'll find out who your real friends are once things will be tested. And I'm just leave it at that. So for our words of wisdom this week, short story, because I just really want to bless somebody's life today. So my car is completely totaled last night. I was in the car. It was parked.
Last night,
7:00.
the hell?
Exactly. And what longer?
Ooh,
And I want to say that be careful how you react to things, because not everything requires negativity. And the reason why I say that is when my car was hit, my friend was with me, and she looked at me, and I was like, okay. And I was irritated, but I wasn't like, F the world. I hate everyone. I hate God. I hate everybody. Because normally when shit like that happens, you're like completely upset. And I was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to be learning in this moment? And what am I supposed to be doing? So I really kind of was doing some self-reflection, because I'm like, is this a karmic thing? Is this as a teachable moment, or is God making space? Obviously, there's something here. And she looked at me really crazy. She looked at me for a full hour, just looked at me really weird. And she says, why aren't you angry? Why aren't you crying? Why aren't you screaming? And I started thinking, I said, I don't know, my damn self, why aren't I angry? Why aren't I crying? Like, that's a normal reaction. And I said, to be really honest, I'm okay. Everything is going to be fine.
that's a fact.
Everything is going to be okay.
That is a fact.
And how is anxiety and anger and all this negativity going to make the car be fixed? What value does it have for me besides creating more stress that I don't need?
That's true.
Worrying and baby, it hasn't been a full 24 hours. Baby got a pre-approval. I don't need a down payment, and it's a better car.
Okay.
And I say that to say it's not just about materialism, but to say that stop thinking that the world is against you. Stop acting like your problems are not really happening for you. Everything is literally working out for your good. And sometimes the thing that you've been praying for, you will be tested for, because you can't have strength if you never have an opportunity to be strong.
That's
Where do you
true.
think it's going to come from? Where do you think it's going to come from? I can't say that I'm working on my anger and then some shit happens and I'm through the roof. So it's the same concept. So you create your own reality. I'm not saying that you can't be sad or can't be angry. Acknowledge that and let that shit go. Because the more you fester in that, the more negativity you create, because you're speaking these things into the atmosphere for it to come into fruition. So when I talk to my mom and I'm talking to everybody and everyone's freaking out but me, I'm like, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fine. I literally lit Zana's candle. I wrote in my journal that I'm going to have a great motherfucking day, and everything that's happening to me, I'm at peace with.
Yeah.
Then I sent my pre-approval, and baby got up. So be mindful of your thoughts and be very, very, very cautious of what you say, because the universe is listening to you.
Always.
And you are listening to you. And you have the power to create whatever the fuck you want to create. So you can either create a pity of hell, or you can create a lavish, wonderful reality of heaven.
That's true.
So I thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. And I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.